What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. And yes, we are still on the Ram and Jeep DLC. The one we've got today, this is the Willy's Jeep military vehicle. It is almost identical to the civilian one, except it's got this roofing gear on top of it and two little bits like that. But the engine gear and all the running gear underneath is all identical to the civilian Jeep. It's just got a little bit of different looks on the outside. So the plan today is to try and beat the time from the Willy's civilian Jeep on the gravel track, which was a flying lap of 2 minutes, 8 seconds, 0.329. Hopefully we should be able to beat that one today nice and easily. Now with the civilian Jeep, we just upgraded everything we possibly could to the highest possible power we could, and we are going to do the same again today. But with all of the performance parts, whether they're base game or TKAftermarket, we are going to be 3-starring them to try and squeeze every single ounce of power we can from this Willy's military Jeep, and then hopefully Willy's military Jeep, and then hopefully be able to get a better time around the gravel track than the civilian one. So this military one's got a lot of stuff to hold up to, shall we say. We are going to be going around the gravel track today. I'm unsure whether we'll get this one onto the top 5 gravel track lap time boards. Struggling with the English language again today, but there we go. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. There is only one way to find out. We've got a long journey ahead of us. We've got to get this vehicle up to running and looking absolutely fantastic in the process, and then get it onto the gravel track and see what she can do. Let's get in and have a look. As I said, it is the Jeep Willy's military. Now, I might be saying Willy's wrong, as there's been a few arguments I've seen, whether it's Willy's or Willis. I'm not sure. For me, that definitely says Willy's. Willis is spelt differently, in my opinion. That's just my opinion and how I've gone to pronounce it. So we will see. Let me know in the comments what you think. But yeah, we're going to keep calling it the Willys for the time being. The engine in it, as I said, is identical to the civilian one, which is the i4 Willys L134 engine, pumping out an identical 60 horsepower. So it's going to be a good representation of the difference between fully tuned and fully tuned with 3 stars. So we'll be able to see that one a little bit later on. Did we get a good deal for the military Jeep? No, but not by a lot, so I will take that. 6,883 is what we paid, and we could sell it for 6,296, losing out only on 587 before we begin. Now, I'm sure when we get this vehicle all shiny and new, looking fantastic, we'll definitely be able to claim that difference back. That's the goal today anyway. Whether we can make it will remains to be seen. But anyway, let's crack on. Let's get the beautiful military Jeep into the car wash, and let's get it all cleaned up. In the car wash with the military Jeep. Let's get it clean and see what is underneath all of this dust and grime. It looks like it does have a camo livery on it at the moment, but we'll find out in a second once we get it all cleaned. There it is. It definitely looks like there's a camo livery on there, along with a lot of the lovely brown metallic rust, as some people may actually call it. But there we go. I'm not sure what to think of that. We've got our work cut out getting this Jeep back together, looking shiny and new. But before that, let's just get all of this interior all cleaned up so that we can work on it nice and easy, get it back on the lifter, get that engine ripped out of there, and get everything else stripped down. The military Jeep's in the air. We need to check for that oil pan. There is an oil pan, so that's where we're going to start, getting all of that oil drained out. How well was this Jeep looked after? Pretty well. That's quite clean, although there wasn't very much of it in there, if we're being truly honest. But let's jump in and see what we've got to take out to get this engine ripped out of here. Obviously, starting with that cheeky little starter with 2 rusty bolts on it. Unfair game. Come on, let's go. Out they come. And then obviously we're going to get this front drive shaft off of here. And then we would normally get our rear drive shaft off, but it is missing on this one. So we'll come back to that one a little bit later on. We'll have to buy a new one to go on there. But we're going to have a transfer case. Out you come. And then our rest of our gearbox with just the 1 rusty bolt in there. Nice and simple. Out you come as well. And then we will grab this front exhaust section just to be on the safe side. The rest of it should probably come out separately. Fingers crossed. Let's get you back down on the ground and go and grab the engine crane and try and pull this engine out of here. Out you come. That's what we like. I should have remembered from the civilian Jeep because they are the same, but I didn't, let's be honest. But let's jump in and check out the engine bay. We've got our big old school radiator at the front that we do have liquids in. We've also got our brake servo up here, fuse box, battery, and then the fuel pump and fuel tank down the back. That, I believe, is literally it. We don't have any coolant reservoir, no, well, sorry, the coolant's in there. We have no wishy-washy reservoir and no power steering for the wonderful Willy's Jeep Military. Sorry for all the soldier boys out there. No power steering for you. Use them big old muscles of yours. But anyway, let's crack on. We're going to need to get the liquids drained from this little beast. And obviously, there's only 2 containers, so nice and simple. Right-click, additional tools, drain tool, and then click on hold of the container. Nice and simple. I'm going to get the rest of this all stripped out. When we come back, it'll be time to work on the military Jeep's beautiful bodywork. I've just been through and scrapped everything in here that's got an individual value of higher than the 3. Now we're just going to scrap the rest of this off with a bigger than 33%. So there we go. Leaves us with 11,341 scrap. So now we're going to get on and we're going to, ignoring the cam gears, I haven't tested which one's fitted yet, so I'll come back to them later. But everything that we directly need is definitely getting a full 3-star upgrade as long as it's got this little performance part indicator showing us that it's giving us a little extra power. So I'm going to go through all of this, get it all done, I'll say apart from those cam gears, depending on which one fits, and I'll let you know how much they cost in just a moment when we jump back in and get all of the bodywork sorted out for our beautiful Willy's Jeep. That's everything mechanical repaired, replaced or upgraded, and all of our performance parts fully upgraded to 3 stars, costing us a total of 3,460 scrap, which obviously may vary to you because we've got TKAftermarket extra parts on there as well, so it probably cost us a little bit extra. The only thing I haven't done yet is the cam gears, because I can't remember if one of them can actually go on this engine or not, or whether we have to use the standard one. But anyway, now we need to sort out this very sorry for itself bodywork, so let's start stripping it down. We've got a headlight there, the front bumper and the license plate, and I honestly think that is it for the entirety around, obviously apart from that rear license plate. No rear bumper, no rear tail lights, no doors, nothing like that on this one. It is just what it is. Let's get this little bit of the interior in there out as well. Out you come and out you come. And I think that may be everything. Let's have a look. Nothing on there. That's what we wanted. 1% showing up on there. So we are down to that bare frame. Looking awesome. The frame itself's at 14%, and we bought the car for a little under 7,000. So I don't think this is going to be a great deal today. I'm going to go with a classic 750. 1,300. I was still off. It doesn't matter. I just always get them wrong, really. Let's get in and have a look at the body shop. In we go. So there's no tuning parts for them, obviously. We'll just go into the bodywork station and the Jeep Willy's Military. And that's it. That's literally all you've got. And we obviously already had the front bumper and the left headlight. Everything else we've got to buy brand new. I'm going to see if we can repair that front bumper. We may have to buy a new headlight. We shall see. But let's get the welder put away. It is in a camo already. It does look quite good in that camo. We shall see if that's what we end up with. But I'm going to go repair what I can repair and then buy what we need to buy to get this beautiful Jeep all back together and then into the paint shop. As it turns out, we couldn't repair anything, so we had to buy everything brand new for the bodywork for this Jeep. So let's just start getting it on. Fender hood on there, and then obviously we've got the lovely headlights. In you go and in you go. Our cheeky little front bumper, not that that part even is needed. Oh, it doesn't want to let me put the license plate on. Let's try that again. It thought I was taking it off, I think. I don't know, that was weird. But anyway, let's crack on. Carry on around. Fender in there. And then that windscreen. I do like the windscreen on this one, if I'm being honest. Left side mirror on you go. Around to the back. We've got a trunk window up here. Another blank license plate for the time being. And then our tail lights on there, which do look pretty good. I do quite like them. I'm not sure what colour they're going to be later, but they look nice in the black as it stands. And then obviously a rear bumper on there. And that should be it for the bodywork. Nice and simple. But we do have to get in and get this interior in as well. So in we go. Just using all the standard interior. The obviously Willy seats for the bench and the front seats. And then obviously the steering wheel that came with it, which is steering wheel 3. It does sort of fit on there. As we saw with the civilian one, none of the other ones really fit on that pole. Not that. What do you even call that? That pole, anyway. Doesn't quite fit on there nicely. That one does. So we're going to stick with that one. But I think that's everything for the bodywork. Let's just double check it. Not that screen. 100%, 100%, 100% bodywork and interior all done. Let's get our beautiful Jeep into the paint shop and decide what we're going to do with the colours and livery. In the paint booth with our Willy's Jeep, and obviously all our new parts are out of colour from what the original factory colour was. It looks quite weird at the moment, but we will change that. But first off, let's jump in and take a look at the factory colours. Solid green. I don't like the solid finish. Solid desert colour, I'm going to call that one. Then this ready orange, which I do quite like, but I'm not sure. Then we've got another solid bright yellow. Definitely not going for that one. And then this sort of deep blue, and I do quite like the deep blue, but you know I don't like a solid finish, so we may stick with this one, but with a different finish on it. But before we do that, let's check out the liveries. Slot number 1 is our glitch camo, obviously with that base color blue in it at the moment. We're not going to do the glitch camo because that's what we did on the civilian one. Slot number 2 is our land camo. I'm a big fan of this land camo. It does look really good. The only part about it that I don't like is this front fender. It seems very bare in comparison to this fender that seems like it's got quite a bit going on. But anyway, not that we're going to stick with the camo livery. Slot number 3 is the camo livery with our little Car Mechanic Simulator 18 little code hidden in there with a white star. Obviously, I believe that's the release date, 28th of the 7th, 17, I believe, is when Car Mechanic Simulator 18 came out. That code is hidden in there, one behind the wheel, one on this fender, one on the other fender, and obviously on that front bumper as well. And I quite like it, but I don't like the camo. So slot number 4, I think, is this one here, which I like with this color, which is the military star in the white with the coding in the places, all looking good. Another extra star at the back there. I didn't notice them a minute ago, but looking good on that blue, just not necessarily in the solid finish. Next slot along is that same star pattern with the coding in a grey, which is a little bit too dark for this blue, so we're not going to go with that one. And then we've got this net camo, which I do actually really like. I think it looks really good, and this was a feature that they did try to use in World War II, but it kind of didn't work as a moving vehicle. But anyway, crack on. Then we've got a lovely sand camo on there. Same thing with the fender. This fender seems to have a lot going on. This one doesn't, but there we go. Not going to pick the sand camo. What else have we got? Sand camo 2 with the star and coding in. That one's quite cool. If we were going to go for the sand camo, that's probably what I'd go for. Then we've got another sand camo. This one, oh, see that blue is from the color blue that we're currently using. Yes, so if we change that, that changes it all. We'll go back to the right blue in just a moment. Again, not going to go for that sand camo. The fuel additional, the jerry can looks a bit weird. I don't know if I can call it that. And that is all of them. So let's just make sure we've got this blue right. Go back to our liveries. I'm going to go for the white star. I've gone too far. Go back to the white star on the blue, but I think I'm going to go for a different blue. Metallic just looks like black, so we're not going to go for that one. Pearl, bit too much shine for me. The matte, I mean, I always like a matte finish. It is my go-to finish of choice. It always looks good. And you sort of, yeah, for me, I think it's going to be the matte, but we'll carry on around. It's definitely not a chrome or a chameleon or the matte chameleon all the way. Because it's so dark, I don't think we can realistically see the second colour in there at the moment. Let's carry on around. A gloss finish, just a bit too much of a shine again, and back to where we started. So I'm going to go for that matte finish on the blue there, and I think that's going to look pretty good. Sort of going for, giving me a bit of a military police vibe, if I'm being honest, American military police, that is. So I quite like that one. When we did the civilian one, we got rid of all of the chroming on this one here to sort of get rid of the chrome. But I don't think we're going to do that one on this one, because we could do that wheel at the back, whereas this wheel at the back on this one is fully attached to the vehicle, so I'd have to mess with the body a lot to try and get that to go a different colour, and I don't think that's going to work. I mean, we could give it a go. I don't think we've only got like material replaces, and that isn't even changing the wheel anyway. So no, that's definitely not what we want. Let's go back to our blue, back on our livery, and go back to a matte finish. What we are going to do though is we're going to make all the bolts white, but not the rims. We're not going to do the rims, no. So I'm going to go brightness all the way up, saturation all the way down, and we don't need any colour on there. So let's get that painted. Obviously, we haven't got anything we can check the bolt colours on this one just yet. So we'll have to check that a little bit later. But I think I'm going to leave the interior as it is. I may try and take that wood off of the steering wheel just because it now looks a little bit out of place, if we can get that done. Whereas everything else I think looks pretty good in there. Going to leave that all like that with the chrome. Going to have some chrome wheels that hopefully match in with this wheel at the back. Fingers crossed on that one. And that should be about it. So I'm going to now crack on, get everything painted we need to paint for this beautiful engine to go in here. Let's have a quick check, make sure there's nothing we can do with bolts. I'd have to fully put like the engine in and stuff like that. That is too much, so we won't do that. But yes, hopefully the bolts are going to come out looking nice. We've seen the white bolts before. They do work. So now I think for the engine, we're going to go with some of this blue, a little bit of white, not too much because we've got the bolts white, and maybe just some black on there as well, just to finish it off with some chrome, obviously, as we will be using chrome on the outside. That's the plan. We'll see how it all turns out and whether it changes in just a few moments. So I'm going to crack on, get everything painted, then we'll get the beautiful Willy's Jeep back on the lifter and get everything back together, ready to see if it's better than the civilian one. That's everything painted for the beautiful Willy's military Jeep, and something has happened, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So what I believe has happened, as I've just tested this, so I can pretty much guarantee, is the bolts are white, and when I've gone away from my game and loaded it back in, the dashboard, the steering column, the gearbox lever, and obviously the framing for this, and a little box, which I believe is meant to be a fuel tank, just underneath the seat, has all gone the same colour as the bolts, gone that beautiful white colour. I think that's looking fantastic. And the reason I can confirm it is because what I did was I went and painted the bolts all blue very quickly, a light blue, came back, and everything was fine, but then I moved the car over to a photo location and back to the garage, and this all went a light blue colour. So yeah, I left it in the white, gone away, came back obviously, and all the framing has gone white, and I think that really sets the vehicle off, especially for my military police looking vehicle with the blue and white. It is looking fantastic. But anyway, let's crack on with that. I believe it's a bug. It's not meant to happen, but for this specific build, it looks absolutely fantastic, and I love it, and I don't want it to change. So there we go. On to in here. We've got everything painted. It is looking beautiful. We've got a bit of a black layer just on our battery to take a splash of that red out of it. White tray, chrome bolts, and obviously a blue cover on the top there. The radiator is in a white, but it doesn't go the same white as everything else. It's a little bit of a challenge, but we made it look good nonetheless. Brake servos in a little bit of black and white, containers in a white, and then the servo itself's in a black, and our fuse box is just in a black up there as well. And that is it for the engine bay, nice and simple. Down to the bottom, our brake drums are in a lovely blue. It pretty much goes blue, white, blue, chrome on there. Absolutely fantastic with the white rubber bushings and all the white accessories holding on the leaf springs there that are in that beautiful blue, along with the shocks in the blue as well. Down to the back, it is almost exactly the same setup, so we're leaving it like that. Everything obviously is a matching front and back, just a different knuckle connection. That is all, because this is one that we need to steer from, obviously. Fuel tanks in the blue, fuel pumps also in the white, but now we need to get on and go and build the Willy's a beautiful i4 engine. If we go into the next room, she's on the stand, looking good. The block itself is in blue and white, that body match blue. The oil pan's also in a blue, and the head is in blue and white, keeping the Jeep Willy's industrial lettering on there in the white with a little connection in there as well. 4 spark plugs and nothing else to go inside this because it is a solid block, and that is all that's needed. So let's crack on and get the rest of this engine together, and we'll start with a cheeky little RB in a lovely little white down there. On you go. We've also got the water pump, which is in chrome and blue, just keeping up with that theme, adding a splash more chrome on there and a blacked out water pump pulley on the top, and we can put the fan on. Alternator in here is in blue and chrome. I really always want this to go the other way around, but it really doesn't go the other way around. So we got chrome on the parts there and blue on everything else. I wanted it chrome on this main module with a blue band, but we couldn't quite get that. Bit of a shame, but never mind. Timing cover on you go in a beautiful body match blue, bringing in this whole engine piece in together, looking fantastic. Crankshaft pulley is chromed out as well on there. On you go, and now we can get that belt on, and now we'll put the big fan on the front, which is in that body match blue again, and then all of these bolts when it goes in the car will go a lovely white, and hopefully should match in with everything, looking fantastic. Oil filter base up here in the blue. We've also got the ignition distributor in a chrome down here, looking quite nice. Oil filter in you go, and a distribution rotor on the top, and then the oil filter cover in that lovely blue with the ignition distribution and a cap, distributor cap, also in that blue on there. Ignition coil B on you go, not painted because I just like the definition and finish of this, especially with the bronze connections at the top there. If you paint it, you lose absolutely everything. So I decided to leave that one as it was. Air filter base just in a matte black, and then obviously we've got our air filter and then the air filter cover on top, which is in a matte black, but these lovely little springs are all stayed in a white, looking fantastic on there. And we've also got our ignition wires, which are in a blue running through with white connections on them, looking very, very good. Fuel filter on this side, just in a cheeky little white up here. And then we've got our fuel pump down here, which is in chrome and blue. And then we've got exhaust manifold, full chrome on you go. And then we've got intake manifold, full chrome on you go, with lots of little bolts on this one. Nice and easy. And then we've got a carburetor on the top, which is the 16B. Everything performance on this one is 3-star. And this one is in a blue and chrome again. Mostly in a blue with a little bit of a chrome accents on there. Looking very nice. And then our air filter cover on top, which is in blue, white, And a little bit of black on there as well, just to finish that one off. They just wanted to stay black on their own, although I do believe they might actually be a blue. They just looked black to me. They are a blue. I'm going to say that. Still a bit bright on that torch, but they look kind of black on there, so I'm happy with that. Blue across there, white little bits, and some dark blue accents. But there it is. That is the Willy's i4 engine built. So let's get it off the stand, and let's get it dropped into our beautiful military police vehicle. Crane's over. Let's get this engine dropped in. In you go. Hopefully you're going to look fantastic, and it's not going to look too blue by the time we look inside it. It does look very blue, but I think all of the accents coming off of it are definitely helping it there. Let's just quickly go into photo mode so we can get a bit higher and a bit in focus, and maybe put some torch on it is what I was trying to do, but everything seemed to not work at the same time. Where are we? Focal point? Didn't mean to be down there, but anyway, there we go. That's the blue on that engine. You can see how some bits go a different blue in the light, but everything looks pretty good on there. The block itself is looking fantastic. Very, very pleased with that, especially with all of the white bolts on it as well. But let's get it up in the air, and let's get this beautiful military police Jeep all finished off. In we go. Obviously, we don't really want to be down the back here. We want to go for that gearbox. So let's get you, which is in a blue and white, looking fantastic on there. And then obviously our white bolts finishing it off. Our little starter down here is just in a cheeky little natural blue, not overrid it. So it still keeps a bit of its blackness on there as well. Looking good. Transfer case, you are in blue and white. And I like you. You've got all of the white accents going around the outside, and all your connecting plates are in white as well. And obviously with our chrome front drive axle, we've got a chrome front drive shaft. Looking good on there. The rear drive shaft, this one can't be TK Aftermarket because it doesn't fit, because the length is way too short and everything just bunches up. So we've just got a normal one in there. And again, painted in that chrome. Looking good. Very happy with that. A couple more pieces left to go, obviously, apart from the wheels, which are already done. We'll talk about them in a minute. Front exhaust section in here. The middle muffler, I always delete and go for the resonator delete pipe because it gives slightly more power if you can get it in there, if it fits with the build, obviously. And then the rear muffler in there as well. All finished off. All 3-star performance parts. This one should have a little bit more power than its civilian counterpart. But there we go. That's pretty much all of that done. Let's bring you back down so we can check it all out. Obviously, we've already seen the engine in there and stuff, but we should be all done apart from the wheels. And I'm not going to bother tinting this little bit of window and the windscreen today. We're going to leave that one open as it is. So let's just jump straight onto the wheels. And I've said they're already done, and they're not painted. They're in their natural colour. So let's just get on with these. On with the back ones. If I could get the rim itself. There we go, on there somewhere. These are all the same size for all 4 corners, so it doesn't matter. 205 width, 65 profile, and an 18-inch rim on there. And the reason we kept it all in its own natural colour is so that it matches in with that rim on the back there. We've got off-road tyres on them, and I'm thinking it's a little bit different. This one's got a bit of a blue in the shine to it or something like that. I'm not sure what it is. There is an ever so slight difference, but it is absolutely minimal. So we're going to leave it with that. We're happy with that one. I'm going to get the last 4 wheels on, get the liquids all topped up, and then we'll get this beautiful Jeep Willy's military police version outside in the sun. Just got one last thing to do on our new Willy's military Jeep. Let's get these plates off of here. Now, I was going to go for MP, for military police and stuff like that, but I figured I'd just keep in with this code, CMS 18. So I've gone for CMS 21 on there. Just finishing that code off at the front. If we nip around to the back, let's take off this rear plate and get the actual one on the back there when it wants to work. There you go. On you go there, just for CMS 21. Just so we know, 18 is when this one was released, but it's now in 21. Looking good on there. I'm liking these bits that aren't supposed to happen. I think they look absolutely fantastic on this Jeep. And I think we've done a relatively decent job of keeping the wheels looking similar on there. I think they're about the same size. We've gone bigger than we should have, but I think that kind of works out just a little bit to its advantage. I never changed anything about these lights as well, by the way, but I do think they look good. They stayed in that blue is what they've gone into. Thought they were in a black on there, but I think that looks nice nonetheless. And I definitely am liking this vehicle. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. But let's jump inside and see what the little i4 engine sounds like. It's going to start it up. Pretty much the same as the other one. Let's give it some gas. Yeah, pretty much exactly the same as the other one. But this one is a full 3-star build along with TK Aftermarket's performance parts. So it should be just a tad more powerful than the standard civilian Willy's Jeep we did. So let's get this beast into the dyno, see what its horsepower is, what its drag rating is, and how it compares to the civilian Jeep. On the dyno with our Willy's Jeep Military Police Edition, sort of, and its i4 Willy's engine with 60 factory horsepower. How much have we increased it by with our 3-star performance parts? A gain of 48 horsepower, a gain of 80%. Absolutely loving that in comparison to the civilian at Willy's Jeep, where we just put TKAftermarket parts on, not 3-star performance part version variants. Struggling to get that out there, but that had a gain of 37 horsepower, 62%, bringing it up to 97 horsepower. Obviously we're at 108, so it has increased it by 11 horsepower in total, but obviously we don't actually have this many parts on the Willy's Jeep, so not the best example. It's only one where you can really compare the two to each other. I'll put the Willy's Military Standard, no TKAftermarket performance tuning on that one on screen. That's its dyno run there. Have a look at that one, absorb that one in, and then we'll also throw onto screen the civilian Jeep Willys that has TKAftermarket parts on it, but not 3-starred, and that's that one here. And then obviously, as you can see, the difference between the one that we have on screen as well. The numbers are a little bit different, not too much, but it's different enough that we decided to make this video anyway. Now, the real question is, can the military Jeep with 3-star performance parts from the base game and TKAftermarket beat the civilian Jeep around the gravel track with a flying lap of 2 minutes and 8 seconds, 0.329? I certainly hope we can do it. We've thrown some extra tuning in this one. But let's have a look at the gearbox tune. That's what we've gone for today. It is identical to what I used for the civilian Jeep when we got that one around the track, keeping it as fair as possible. Obviously, the speeds aren't identical, but the ratios themselves are identical. So there we go. That's what I've gone for the most obvious comparison between the two vehicles. Obviously, we don't have any ECU in this one, but we do have a carburetor giving us an additional 3% tune. And if you want to learn how to easily do that, click this link in the top right-hand corner here, or there is also a link in the description below, along with a link to do the ECU perfectly every time as well, if you want to see that one. But that's the gearbox. Let's get the beautiful military Willy's Jeep onto the gravel track and see what lap times she can put down. Back on the gravel track with another Willy's Jeep, and this time we've gone for the military one instead of the civilian one. Can we beat that civilian one for our flying lap? We need to beat a time of 2 minutes, 8 seconds, 0.329. Let's jump in and see if we can do it. We're going to do 2 laps, 1 standing lap, just to get our bearings right and get a base time down, and then 1 flying lap, and that's the one that's going to be the score, effectively, for our gravel track lap time board. Can we do it with the military Jeep? Let's get in and let's find out. Come on, you little beast. Let's go. Off we go. And off the line. Struggling a little bit with first gear. We did do that one as well with the civilian Jeep. So let's get up the hill into our first corner and let's get on with this wonderful lap. Hopefully it's not going to be too bad. Might be a little bit slow just because this vehicle is not the fastest. We're going to knock it down into first very briefly there. It didn't like it. Straight back into second, so never mind. We'll gloss over that one, up and over the crest of the hill, and then down into our left-hand turn. Into the narrow section where the sides on one side are a little bit banked. In fact, they are both a little bit banked, so you can easily roll, and we definitely don't want to do that. Let's keep going around. I'm going to let off the acceleration a little bit, and then drop it down into second gear as we enter into the forest section. It's dropped me back up into third. That's fine. I am going to drop it down again in just a second for this corner. Come on, come on, come on. We're coming up to around the final corner. We can do this. I'm not going to let off the acceleration, although I am going to drop it down into second just to give us an extra power boost. Oh, 2 minutes, 7.779. We did manage to do it in our standing lap. So let's crack on with our flying lap then. I'm going to drop it down into second and then into first for this corner, although it didn't like it. Went straight back into second, but then dropped itself back down into first. Come on, let's get over this crest and then down the hill on the other side and gain a little bit of speed before this corner. Can we do it without braking? A little bit off the acceleration. I shouldn't have done it without braking, but I think we managed to just about survive, trying to take risks just to squeeze a little bit more time out, but there we go. Coming up to the jump, will we get some air? Absolutely not, but I'm going to drop it down into second for this hill just to make sure we get up it and carry enough speed through into this corner. Let's keep going around. Keep going. I'm going to let off the acceleration for the exit of this corner, and hopefully it will drop us down into second. It will indeed, just as I hoped it would. Coming up to round this big left-hand turn. Oh, I've clipped a bollard and we've messed the corner up. Hopefully that won't ruin our time too much, and it will still be lower than 779, should I say. As we go up around the hill on the other side, trying to keep as much speed as we can, not trying to turn too harshly, keeping the speed going. Let's get around this top corner. We are going to have to turn for this one. As we go around into the narrow section with the bank sides, don't clip anything. You can roll, although I haven't actually done it with this Jeep yet, so there we go. Letting off the acceleration as we enter into the forest section and dropping it down into second gear just for the entrance to carry as much speed as we can into our first forested corner. It's going to go up into third, but I'm going to take it down just because of the harsh turning around this corner here. Doing all right so far, 1 minute 40. We can do this. Come on, you little military Jeep. Let's get a big push onto the finish line and get a better time than 2 minutes and 7.779. We can do this. Round the tight corner, then threading the needle, which isn't too bad at a little under 90 kilometers an hour. Coming around to the final corner, not letting off the acceleration. Drop it down into second just to carry a bit more speed. And across the line with a 2 minutes, 5 seconds, 0.763. Not too shabby. I didn't mean to do that. I went too far. Just wanted to go to there so we can just rotate the camera a little bit. Well, there we go. 2 minutes 7.779 for its standing lap and 2 minutes 5.763 for its flying lap. So it is definitely 3-star performance parts, much quicker. I say much, a little bit quicker than the standard civilian version that just had TK Aftermarket and no 3-star tuning on it. So there we go. Now let's get this beautiful military police Willy's Jeep back to the garage, get it onto that lap time board, and then see if we can sell it on for a decent bit of profit. There we are, all finished with our military police i4 Willy's Jeep. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Sadly, not the quickest around the gravel track, but it is one of those things. We managed a 2 minutes and 5 seconds, 0.763, putting this Jeep in its 15th place out of 18, and obviously moving that civilian Jeep down to 17th. So it didn't come last, so I'm definitely happy with that. But let's talk some facts and figures about this beautiful 3-star performance parts Jeep. We bought it for $6,883 at the beginning and could have sold it and lost out on $587, which isn't too bad, but we didn't do that. We spent a further $34,543 upgrading, modifying, tuning and painting this beautiful Jeep to how you see it now, which is quite a bit, but it is one of those things. We spent a total of $41,426. Is there some money to be made from this beautiful Jeep? Let's get in and let's take a look. Well, there she is, all 100% finished with 322,000 kilometers on this beast. Pretty wild. But anyway, we managed to squeeze up more power out of that engine from 60 horsepower to 108 horsepower, a gain of 80% and about 11% higher than it was. I don't know. No, that's more than that. It's about 18% higher than it was on the civilian Jeep with TK Aftermarket parts, just not the 3-star tuning. So the 3-star tuning with just performance parts has made a hell of a difference on this one. But we spent $41,426 to get there. So can we make some money if we sell this beast? $63,652 is our sale price, leaving us with a profit of $22,226. All of the twos in that one, apart from 1 6. We will definitely take that profit. Thank you, Willy's Military Jeep. You have been a lot of fun. I am enjoying this DLC. Are you enjoying it? Let me know in the comments below. Time to say goodbye to our military Willy's Jeep, or military police Willy's Jeep, as we've been calling it. And what have we got coming up next? Well, there's only 2 vehicles left from the DLC. One of them's on that billboard, and we are saving that one till last. What's coming up next is the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT8, and I absolutely love this one. And we're going to take this one around the racetrack because I just feel it's got more of a race vibe than the others. I mean, it's still an off-roader. It should still be 4x4. I think it is still 4x4. Can we get in here and have a look? I don't think I can from there. I can from there. And there's so much missing that we can't tell anyway. So never mind. But we will come back to that one another time in the next episode. But let's get in and take a look. As I said, it is the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT8, the only edition available. And it is available from all of the places. So you can get it everywhere. But we bought ours from the auction house. Did we get a good deal? No, of course not. 13,660 is what I paid, and I could sell it for 11,176, losing out on 2,484 before we begin. And as we're putting it around the racetrack, there's no winnings for winning the race because we're not against anybody, just our own at times. So that's what we've got to bear in mind. Will we be able to get this one into the top 5 of the racetrack lap time board? I'm not sure, but there is only one way to find out, and that is to join us back here on Monday. But before that, the engine in this one is the V8 Hemi 392 engine, pumping out 469 horsepower. Finally, some good high numbers. That is what we like to see. We're going to put all the performance parts on this one, TK Aftermarket included, although we're not going to 3-star these. We're going to save that for another vehicle, and you can probably guess which one that is. But there we go. This is what we're going to be working on next, the beautiful Greek Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT 8. So do make sure you join us back here on Monday for that beautiful Jeep Grand Cherokee. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to go around the racetrack. It should be a little bit wild. What are your predictions for times for that one? Let me know in the comments below. But also in the comments, let me know what you thought of the beautiful military police themed Jeep Willys we did today. Obviously TKA Aftermarket and 3-star performancing it, trying to squeeze as much power as we could. And I think we did a good job. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a cheeky little like, and don't forget to double check you are subscribed. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to the channel members who really support me. I really appreciate all of you guys. You too can become a channel member of the VM Garage Club by clicking a join now for £2.99 a month, less than a cup of coffee, and you get access to our wonderful Discord where we chat, have a laugh. I ask you for help with my competition builds, and also that's where I share all of my competition builds, configs, and liveries. It's the only place I share them, so if you want access to them, just click the join button below. But if you can't afford it, totally understand. Continue supporting me the way you do, watching the content, liking the content, and sharing it if that's what you so choose. But as always, make sure you are subscribed. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, whatever it is you're getting up to. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Like and subscribe for Virtual Mechanic.